Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is October 3rd, 2025. 30 years ago today, the nation was mostly shocked when OJ Simpson was found not guilty. Just days after Johnny Cochran said, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. So notice, Diddy gets 4 years, 2 months in prison on this 30th anniversary. And we'll get to why 30 matters, because 30 is related to Saturn's return. And in astrology, Saturn is the judge. Of course, Diddy's in the courtroom receiving judgment and sentencing. But yes, 4 years, 2 months. And we'll get to the 50 months as well. Obviously, it's the same time frame because they both matter. But the 4-2 is obvious, right? Again, you're watching the channel where I've talked about black shaming rituals in 42, probably at least 1,000 times. Wrote a rather long chapter on this code in my 2017 book, Letters and Numbers. In my book, Number Games, wrote a little bit more about the black shaming code of 42. And you have it here one more time. For people who don't know, OJ's name was Orenthal James. That's what the OJ stands for. And you can see the overlap with Puff Daddy and Orenthal and Freakoffs and Gematria. And remember, what was used to sentence Diddy was the Mann Act, and Mann Act is also 42. So 4 years and 2 months coming down to the Mann Act. And he was a bad boy. He should have been a little more manly, I suppose, a little bit more mature and adult-like. But yeah, this is just another sick ritual. And let's go through it from the top. So CNN chose to run their headline as 50 months, which of course is 4 years and 2 months. And with regards to 50 months, how about the Gematria of OJ Simpson? Again, if you're new here, this practice of coding numbers into words comes from Kabbalah. And it's very relevant. You learn this knowledge, you'll see through the news every day. You'll see through the rigged sports games. Last night, Kyle Shanahan, who owns Sean McVay as a major underdog, gives Sean McVay his 54th loss on Yom Kippur. What's Yom Kippur equal? 54. Kyle Shanahan, who's probably Jewish, got his 74th career win. What's Jewish equal? 74. These things aren't an accident. The world of sports is rigged and scripted. The world of news is rigged and scripted. The crypto, it's rigged and scripted. The markets, it's rigged and scripted. And if you learn this little simple code, you'll see through all of it. Again, there are 4 base ciphers of the English language. We're going to talk about all 4. They are the alphabetic order, the reverse alphabetic order, and both orders with numerology applied. Again, I learned about this from the book that's nearly 100 years old, Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teachings of All Ages. But yes, the 50 months, no doubt, a little tribute to OJ Simpson, who was found not guilty on this day. For the record, people might see this as some kind of universal karma. OJ got off, Diddy didn't. These 2 cases have been discussed alongside. The phrase scales of justice, which goes with the courtroom, also equates to 50. And if you guys are new here and somebody stumbled on my channel, I am the probably only person on the internet who had a video up before Diddy was arrested, a year before he was arrested, saying why he was going to go down at age 54 and who this all traced back to. Of course, it's the gang who has their headquarters at the address 54, who has a long history of 54, who established their first university in America at age 54, or well, at least the guy who established the school was 54 years old. That's John Carroll, and I'm talking about Georgetown. And don't forget, it was the same Georgetown prosecutor who took down R. Kelly at age 54, who was sentenced to prison on that special 54 gang's birthday. I'm talking about the Jesuit order. And remember, Georgetown, established by a 54-year-old John Carroll. Again, the same prosecutor from that school took down R. Kelly and Diddy. At their peak, the Jesuits had 54 universities in the U.S. Today is 54 weeks since Diddy was arrested by the numbers. And as we covered then, it was synced perfectly with the superior general and the first Jesuit pope, Pope Francis. Again, I have a lot of work still up on Diddy. You can go back and check it all out. But just for the record, Jesuits also equals 15. And so does Washington, and so does America. And again, this nation was hijacked by Jesuits long ago. It's why they moved the nation's capital to where they set up camp in Georgetown. And that's also why George Washington goes down as the first recognized president in U.S. history. That was just a few months after Georgetown was established. But yeah, here's the beginning of the 50 thing, okay? And don't forget, who was OJ's lawyer? Johnny Cochran. And he was Jesuit educated. And the day that Johnny Cochran delivered the line, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit, go back and look it up. That was September 27th. That's the day in history the Jesuits were recognized by the Roman Catholic Church. That's the same day R. Kelly was sentenced to prison at age 54. Like Diddy was arrested at age 54. And again, here we are 54 weeks later. Yeah, Johnny Cochran went to Loyola Law School in Los Angeles. He also did his undergrad at Loyola Marymount University. Those are Jesuit schools. Again, the Jesuits. We live in a country where everyone is almost oblivious to this order that was warned about by the founders, who, again, Abraham Lincoln blamed the American Civil War on, and said they were the greatest purveyors of slavery in America and wanted slavery in America more than anybody. And think about what the closest thing is to slavery today. It's being in prison. So we're going to get to the little slave code with Diddy's 4-year and 2-month sentence. But again, this code is based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. Notice that today is 40 days before Arturo Sosa's upcoming birthday. He is the leader of the Jesuit order. OJ Simpson equals 40, like United States, also like US, like USA. We just talked about this over the weekend with the twin 40-year-old veteran mass shooters. Now, look at this. Saturn is the judge in astrology. Saturn has a 30-year return. Today's the 30th anniversary of OJ being found not guilty. Notice how Saturn and Orenthal overlap with 93 and 42. And of course, we know where the other 42s fit in. We were just talking about it. Puff Daddy, Freak Offs. I must have put it down a little bit lower. With regards to the other numbers up there, 39, the reflection of 93. Notice Cassie is 39 right now. This whole thing's been centered around Cassie as well. From Diddy being found guilty on July 2nd to today is 93 days later. Bad Boy Records was founded in 93. Again, Saturn, the judge, has a 30-year return, 30 years to the day. Saturn and Orenthal have this 93 connection as well as 42. So just to make it extra clear, you know, you think of Bad Boy Records, one of their most famous rappers early in the label's history was Craig Mack, who died at 42. Saturn does have a connection to 50 in the sense that you have your second Saturnian return in your late 50s. That's when Diddy will be released from prison in his late 50s. So the story goes. It's hard to say if he'll ever do a day in prison. Again, a lot of this stuff is just theater that is symbolic, because while Diddy might never really do a day in prison, a lot of people who look like him have been doing a lot of time in prison, and for things that people who look like me haven't had to go to prison for. And again, I just want you to think about that with the long history of who really runs this nation, what Lincoln said about slavery and who were the greatest purveyors of it, and how all these rituals day after day trace back to the Jesuits, and they love to continually shame black men. You think about all these gangster films that celebrate these Italians who don't like black guys. Just think about how all this stuff kind of flows together if you really think about it. And then it's kind of interesting how gangster rap kind of glorifies the Italian gangster, you know. I saw Nas had something coming out, and I remember Nas years ago had the music video that, you know, played on a scene right out of the movie Casino, gangster film with De Niro and Pesci and all them. And there's a lot of examples like that. The whole Firm, Nas's whole The Firm thing. And I mean, that's just one of really a million examples. Anyway, coming back to this, look at what's encoded in the N-word, slavery, and Tuskegee. And don't forget, in Tuskegee, the experiment, the syphilis experiment, there were 201 men in the control group. The Jesuits' whole history is 201. The Jesuit order equals 201. We're in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, the first to live in Suite 201. If you don't know about my work in the Jesuits, it's just 201, 201, 201. Go back and see how many 201s there were in Diddy's arrest and that whole saga as well, because it's just another chapter we've uncovered. But yeah, just look at the 30s and the 42s up there. And then the other thing I think about with Saturn is how it's associated with the color black. There's probably a piece to think about there with that as well. Diddy has served a year, so they're saying that the 50-month sentence, or 4 years and 2 months, that the year served counts. So that means he's going to serve 38 more months. And remember, he was arrested when Cassie was 38, and they started dating when Cassie was 19. And the moon has a 19-year cycle, so one full moon cycle later, Cassie's responsible in large part for his arrest. But yeah, 38's a big rapper code. So that's another part of this. 38 months from now. And notice that today is 38 days after Cassie's birthday. If you counted the span of days, you could also say it's the 39th day of her age. So it's 38 days after her birthday, or her 39th day of being 39 years old. And in case we're doing number overload here, again, Puff Daddy, Orenthal, Simpson, they're all 39. Federal's also 39 since he's brought in on federal charges. Remember, he was arrested by the Department of Homeland Security near the World Trade Centers when, of course, Bad Boy Records had the song Juicy, which got banned from the radio after 9/11 because the lyrics blow up like the World Trade, which probably weren't an accident. I don't think a lot of these songs that people know the lyrics were actually written by the artist, or at least not the whole song. I think there's a lot of inserts from the studio types who are the people who are in the know of things that are to come. Like, again, September 11th was planned decades in advance. And keep in mind, Bad Boy Records was founded in 93, the year of the World Trade Center bombing. Hold on. Juicy, Biggie, song release date. That song probably released right around 93. 94, huh? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Not that long after. It's funny, it was released on August 9th, the day leaving 144 days left in the year. Jesuit orders got that 144 connection. It's the day of the Michael Brown ritual, too. Another racial psyop. And don't forget how the white cop who killed Michael Brown, they put out the image of him, Darren Wilson, wearing the 42 blue shirt. Ferguson equals 42 like Missouri. Michael Brown 201. Okay. Now, something else that's interesting is 38 months from now is December 3rd, 2028. So assuming Diddy did the full sentence, that would be his release date. December 3rd, 2028. Notice Orenthal's got that 1, 2, 3 as well, right? Like December 3rd is 12-3, 1, 2, 3. Again, Orenthal's got the 93 like Saturn, the 39 like Puff Daddy, like Cassie's age, the 42 like everything we already talked about. The arrest, September 16th. And remember everything there was to that. That's the day leaving 106 days left in the year. Cassie's 106. Cassie's also 56. Diddy's going to turn 56 in a month and a day. And September 16th is the 259th day of the year, leaving 106 days remaining. Black Lives Matter, 259, 106. Think of BET's 106 in Park. He's about to turn 56 next month. Just the word black alone is 106. The motto for Black Lives Matter is I can't breathe. So again, this was all part of it. Frank Lucas, who Diddy's father worked for, 106. Few things I'm forgetting right now, but yeah, Diddy's arrest ritual, what was just that major ritual. And then even the day he was found guilty, 7-2, when he was arrested at 54, Jesuit order 54 and 72. His father was killed in 72 working for Frank Lucas. His father was 33 as well when he was murdered. But yeah, my video way before Diddy got arrested, about a year in advance, was explaining why he would go down at age 54. Special number to the Jesuits. A lot of rituals with this number, but the big clue was when Clarence Avant died and the image syndicated was him with Diddy. Clarence Avant died 54 years after he supposedly established Sussex Records. And I'd say, a lot of these guys that supposedly run their own label, I don't think they really run their own label. I think it's just for appearances and hopium. And again, I think that's why Clarence Avant is dead. And don't forget how his death was synced with his wife, too. They were just perfect rituals. But it was 54 years after he established Sussex Records. Again, the image with him and Diddy together. And I said, Diddy's going to be 54 before long. I think that's another signal. Who's next? It was just R. Kelly recently at age 54. And don't forget how they intertwine the R. Kelly thing with this as well, besides just the same prosecutor taking down both men from Georgetown, which again was founded by a 54-year-old John Carroll. And the 54 and 72 thing go together because the Jesuits logo is the sun. They're the military order of the Catholic Church that's a sun-worshiping cult. And again, the sun has a 72-year cycle where every 72 years it moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel. So Diddy guilty on July 2nd, which is the anniversary of the Civil Rights Act. And, it's all this 54. And then today, October 3rd, 10-3, Jesuits 103. Your WNBA scripted, the Mercury shocked and snuck into the WNBA that begins today on 10-3, 103 days after the NBA Finals ended with the Thunder winning with 103 points. And don't forget, we told you the Thunder would win at the start of the season. Again, they're the Sonics team. Sonics won it in 79. Thunder win the 79th NBA season. And the whole series was, again, it's a lot to explain, but just a sick ritual paying tribute to the Oklahoma City bombing. The playoffs began on April 19th, the anniversary of the bombing, 30 years earlier. And if you've never seen my work on Oklahoma City and the Jesuits, it's all Jesuits too. Remember the game on June 11th? It was the anniversary of Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber, getting executed in Indiana. Like the finals were Oklahoma City, Indiana. Go back and look. Indiana won that day on the anniversary of his execution with 116 points on a date that can be written 11/6. They did a lot paying tribute to McVeigh and that bombing with those scripted finals. Again, like I said, you learn this knowledge, you'll see how the whole game's rigged. Diddy, he's also got that November 4th birthday, 114. Orenthal James Simpson, 114. Names like Martin Luther King Jr. got the 114 in it, and the 93 history. Like I said, Saturn's black, right? Malcolm X, MLK, and Malcolm X, both not born with those names, but given the 93 connection. And if you look it up, they only met one time in history, MLK and Malcolm X. They met March 26, 64. 3 plus 26 plus 64 is 93. They both died age 39. The Reflection. And you can see that both their names got the 42 in it as well as the 30. Again, there's a lot of this. Huxtable's another one of those words. Huxtable's also 93. Again, the stuff's not an accident. It's not an accident. He also got a $500,000 fine to go with the 50 months. But yeah, anyway, I got a late start today, you guys. One other thing I talked about a lot at the time of the arrest, he went to Howard, just like Kamala Harris. And remember, Diddy did the whole vote or die thing. And what was his other voting campaign called? Vote or Die and Rock the Vote. That was the other one. But the president right now, a lot of parallels to Diddy, a lot of accusers, but not in prison. Of course, if his skin was a different color, he might be there. Today is the 257th day of the Trump administration, which is the 55th prime. Like that's Diddy's age right now. And again, Trump runs on the highest degree of the Church of Satan, mega. And it's not an accident. Again, anyone can look it up. The 5th and highest degree of the Church of Satan is mega, M-A-G-A, spelled the same way. Again, Obama proves that it wasn't an accident because Obama told the joke on the 45th birthday of the Church of Satan at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, April 30th, 2011, 45 days to Trump's birthday, with Trump in attendance, that Trump would become the 45th president. That was supposed to be a ha-ha funny joke in 2011. Well, 5 years later, 5 years, 7 months later, I suppose, on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, it wasn't a joke. Now, Mr. Build That Wall is president-elect on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, which, of course, equates to 45 and also 63. Like, if you had 1 through 63 together, it's 2016, the year they did the joke. But, yeah, Yeah. So I don't think that's an accident that they do this today. Synced up with the Trump administration. Vote or Die also has that 50. Again, like America, like Washington, like Donald, like Satanic. The Church of Satan. You see how it's 122 and 50 for Satanic, just like San Francisco. Church of Satan founded in San Francisco. Last night, if you're a real-time bettor and you know the knowledge, you knew it was over when they put up the stat that Matt Stafford had 50 comeback winning drives. They ended up getting stuffed on 4th and 1 to end the game for the major dog San Francisco to win in the Yom Kippur ritual. Again, as McVay gets his 54th career loss. Not to mention he got 251 days after his birthday, 54th prime. And I'm pretty sure Shanahan is Jewish. I've always thought he looked Jewish. Doesn't really say anywhere online what his religion is, but his face looks Jewish to me. He got his 74th win yesterday on the most holy day of the Jewish calendar year. Of course, holiday is also 74. But yeah, it is more of the same old, same old. I don't know what it's going to take for people to invest in this knowledge and care about it. I just look at all the stuff that just goes viral online. And I just think, well, why is the stuff viral? It's just like, it's always waste of time content, doesn't lead you anywhere, doesn't give you any real answers. I mean, look at all the stuff viral right now about Charlie Kirk. None of it answers anything. Just like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, yeah, that guy in the sunglasses over there, that's interesting. Man, as soon as that Charlie Kirk news broke, showed out the whole thing was just synced completely with the Trump administration on the same pattern we've been educating about for a decade. I mean, it should just be most viral thing on the internet, most undeniable thing on the internet. Again, you're listening to the only guy on the internet who said a year in advance why Diddy was going down at 54. Now, sentenced to prison. I'm almost surprised they didn't go with 54 months. They probably thought about it. We might have saved Diddy 4 months. Like, we'll hide the 4-2 in the 50 months. But anyway. Shout out to Open Up. He said, former Baltimore Raven dead at 58. Arthur Jones, brother of UFC John Jones. And I mean, just in 2 seconds right here, Baltimore 58. I mean, yeah, it's sad. Dead at 39. I was talking about this, MLK, Malcolm X. This is in the news while the Diddy thing's going on. Puff Daddy synced up with Cassie. Well, what I really think the 39 thing is about is the Old Testament that has 39 books and Protestant. Look at it. It's 95 days after his birthday that this news breaks, you guys. See how Baltimore's 95 and 58? Baltimore, big comeback by Buffalo at the end to win with 41. The next week, Baltimore wins with 41. News breaks 95 days after the man's 58th birthday. Yeah, it's sad. Sad. All right, I'll look more into that. I remember in the Baltimore Bridge collapse, we were talking about the 58 ritual on that too. It was synced up with the Chiefs beating them in the AFC Championship. What was it like? Was it 58 days later? It might have been 58 days later. There was a lot to it. I have to go back and review it, but yeah, 95 days. The 39, by the way, the 39 here, the Ravens are named after the poem, The Raven, which equals 39, just for the record. I was saying dead at 58. The date numerology today is 58. It's 10 plus 3 plus 20 plus 25. 10 plus 3 plus 20 plus 25 is 58. 95 days after his birthday. 39 years old. All right. I got to go pick up sweet girl, you guys. Got a late start today. But thanks again to everyone who hits the like and the share. Thank you to everyone who supports the work. And until next time, True Seeker. Oh, shout out to Dale as well. Thank you for chipping that in, Dale. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you. All right, you guys. Have a good rest of your day. And until next time.